God has a division of consciousness. The diagnosis was made by a friend of mine, a psychiatrist, after he returned from Brazil. He said this after a friend of a Mexican doctor, Dr. Octavio Rettig, helped him experience an awakened, enlightened state of consciousness. I will not detail the method here. Anyone who cares can find it online by searching for Octavio Rettig. With this technique, anyone can wake up. At the beginning of the 20-minute process, you will experience as your own personal ego is destroyed, practically dying to give your place to something much larger that you also experience as yourself. The first impression right away is an aha feeling you experience when you wake up in bed in the morning. Oh, of course I remember now. How could I forget that? I am the existence itself, and nothing exists besides me. I am the pure existence. So anything that could exist would be just myself. I still experience myself as a person. I am alone, just as God exists alone in his pre-creation state. At that moment, this is not an idea resulting from a conclusion, but an obvious fact. The next thought is, who could criticize me, when there is no one and nothing but me? It brings with it a sense of infinite freedom. This is followed by a huge, liberated, all-pervading cosmic laugh. Space and time do not matter. When you return, your consciousness narrows. I experience myself again as Joseph for feeling infinite gratitude. Devotion I have never experienced before pervades my whole personality. I estimate that tens of thousands of people have experienced these things in decades. So why don't we hear almost anything about this? According to a dear friend of mine, societies could fall apart if it were made public. Anyone who experiences this may not go back to work on the production line. Anyone who hears about it can easily turn this knowledge against themselves and others. If your personality isn't advanced enough yet, you can interpret it as I am God and so I can do anything. I am free to harm anyone. These people cannot go one step further, that is, they cannot get to the true meaning of knowledge. What is the real meaning of knowledge? If I am the existence itself and no one and nothing exists except me, then the other person can only be me. When the finite encounters the infinite, one or more paradoxes are always formed. From this narrowed state of consciousness, this can only be accepted, not understood. However, this is more than a theory, as it can be experienced and examined from both a finite and an infinite perspective. Many who have experienced this awakened state think that I am God. I know that. So who else should know about it? Anyway, no one would believe me. Of course, there are also many who, after experiencing this condition, post their experiences online in an article or a YouTube video. I, as Joseph, in this infinitely narrowed state of human consciousness, see that the whole creation is for God not to be alone. The game of life is about learning to love myself in others. Who else could I love when all that exists is me? On the occasion of waking up, in the short process that the thing you thought about yourself dissipates. All the knowledge, abilities, your spiritual advancement that belong to your personality, all that you were proud of, wash away from you, like mud from a diamond. In the end, nothing is left but a brilliant diamond. And this diamond is there for everyone, whether it's a serial killer or a celebrated head of state. And not everyone has the same diamond, but exactly the same, because there is only one such gem. This is also a paradox. Creation is always done by creating pairs of opposites. To enjoy the true value of a glass of water, you need to cross the desert. My thoughts, speech, and actions are governed by either love or selfishness. First, just pull the pairs of opposites apart a little. Then love is paramount, selfishness is only very faintly present. It's like when we go to the movies and watch an easy love movie. We enjoy it, but when we've already watched the 130,000 love movies, we crave something else. Then we watch an adventure movie. We really enjoy it, but when we watch the millions of adventure movies, we crave a much more exciting crime scene. At the moment, I feel like we've been watching the very many horror movies in thousands of years. Selfishness dictates everything, love exists only as a multi-pronged concept. This is when we used to want an easy love movie again. Why did I tell you all this? I do it purely out of selfishness. This is where the circle ends, where selfishness re-enters into love. This is when the snake bites its own tail. I, who am much more than Joseph you are looking at, do not want to suffer further in the body that you think of yourself. There are two pillars of love. One is respect, the other is acceptance. If either of these two is missing, there is no chance of love developing. Love must be like the sunshine, which shines equally on everyone. And here's a thought for all those who are afraid of being awakened. Those who have experienced the awakened state of consciousness, work much harder and more efficiently than those who have not had such an experience. The real enjoyment of life actually begins after experiencing awakening. Remember, everyone can wake up, that is, become enlightened. It only takes 20 minutes. There is only one condition for the process of awakening, that your body's circulatory system must function properly. The few seconds as your consciousness expands from its current state to infinity, can be daunting. If you want to be touched by a sense of infinity, just think carefully through the next two short sentences. How long has God existed? Surely it has been around for a long time.